Welcome to episode
I don't know.
10. Welcome to episode 10 of Finding the One.
By the way, you look good right now. I'm gonna jump over. I want to
Oh, Danny, shut up.
I just want to get you. I'll jump on you right now. Seriously.
Can we start again?
Nope. This week's episode, we're gonna be talking about now we're in relationship.
Yeah, so we left off in Italy with the ring. I really had nothing to say last week. I was so tired. But you told a very good story. You did. And then I went back to London and you went back to Austin and we started a long distance relationship.
And I remember at the airport we
Oh,
teared up and it was,
yeah. Because we came back. Oh my goodness. We forgot about when we came back to London and we watched The Notebook together. And then I felt like I had a nervous breakdown after.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So the Notebook for me was a big moment because in previous relationships, I was always asked to watch romantic movies, but I always avoided watching them because I knew I didn't have. Let me explain this to you. One of the secrets to getting whatever you want in life is to be clear with what you want in life and to remove the separation that you have within you that says that you can't have that. Because every part of you that feels like you can't have it, you're right. And you create from that energy. And so one of the downfalls of that is knowing what you want and knowing that you don't have it currently. So somewhere deep in my heart, I knew I didn't have a Notebook kind of relationship. And, we are here on this planet to live life to its fullest, to get everything that we want. And so I would avoid watching it. So I remember that we went back to London. I got us a room at the hotel. And this time we could finally stay together because I wasn't sick anymore. And we spent how many days there?
I think it was just
like a day or two. 2 days.
Maybe even one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was just one.
Yeah. And that night they were having a screening. It was really nice. It was on this lawn. What's the name of that hotel?
The Grove.
The Grove in London, or North London if you're ever around there. They were having a screening of The Notebook. So it would be, baby, it was perfect. It's how could you, this is when I started realizing our relationship is a little twin flamey or a little ooh, a little woo or something. Because how could you show up on the day after the trip and for me, they're playing the exact movie that I had declared 10 years prior, it's either a Notebook kind of love or I don't want it. And here we are. I gave you the ring and now we're in. And I remember that picture. I'll send the team that picture because that picture for me is my favorite picture.
It's so cute.
It really is because you're nestled in and you had finally all right, I give up.
Fine, I like you.
Yeah. Yeah. How about for you?
I remember after the big moment for me was after we watched that movie and it was kind of all hitting me. We went back to the room and as we were laying in bed that night, you were leaving the next morning. And I remember laying there thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Just everything on Mount Bonnell when I had a nervous breakdown when I left Austin the first time, the same kind of thing was happening again where it was oh my goodness, but long distance is really hard. How is this ever going to work? And so, I remember feeling really nervous and kind of sad because you were leaving. And then we didn't have the next trip planned or I'd never done a long distance relationship that long. So it was kind of daunting.
Yeah. I remember the Notebook ending, and at the end, I'm going to be honest, I think I even like shed a little tear, because it was a moment for me, like it was honestly like a what the fuck is life kind of moment. Because guys, for you to declare like I'm going to have a notebook kind of love, and then you actually have a notebook kind of love, and the person you're with, like it's the person you wanted for all these years, for 3.5 years, and then you're finally in it. I literally was like, what is life? Like what? Like I literally could have whatever I want. It was like do 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 do. It's fucking weird. But then let me tell you something else. Underneath it, underneath that, right? There was a part of me also that was like, oh fuck, like now there's no excuse. Like now there's nowhere to run. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you going to say? The grass is greener when you've
right.
like preached the whole time.
When you made when you literally designed the patch of grass exactly the way you wanted it. So being truthful here, right? Like, you know, like sometimes we're always looking for ways to escape and to leave. And we're going to talk about this in a second, because inside of Awaken You, a lot of women asked me this week, how do I determine the difference between having standards and being superficial or selecting from a wounding? So in a second, we're going to go there. But I'm going to tell you guys straight up, it was a moment for me like, you ain't got nowhere to run now, because this is everything you ever wanted. And that shit was fucking
confronting.
Oh. Seriously.
Do you remember how you felt when you left London?
I felt like elated.
You did?
I did. I mean, I felt sad, but you know, think about it this way. When I showed up like not knowing if this was going to work out.
Yeah.
I showed up sick. I showed up nervous. I showed up scared. I showed up with all these feelings. And here I am leaving like, no, now that I know I have you, the rest is easy. The rest I can take care of.
It was easy.
Yeah, it was easy.
And it wasn't.
Well, you know, what I say is, and I think like this is one of the things that allowed you to fully drop into your feminine, is that, you know this, I have an ability to make you feel like, and I think this is one of my gifts, I don't know, like everything is going to be fine. Like everything is going to work itself out. So in the moment where you have your moments of like, oh my God, what's going to happen, whatever the case may be, I remember I was like, everything will be fine. You'll come, I'll come back, whatever we need, we're going to make it happen. If I need to come back in 2 weeks, I'll come back in 2 weeks. I got the kids next weekend, I'll come back the following, you know, whatever. I already started planning, you know, in my head. And yeah, so I felt elated. I felt happy.
So what came next?
Did you come or did I come?
I remember I came to, no.
When was the trip where I told you don't get the clothes? No, that's later.
That's later.
Okay.
I think
I may have came back.
Came back for my sister's birthday.
Yeah. Which we'll talk about that on the next episode.
Okay. So what should we talk about in this episode?
Well, for now, I want to address this because all over Instagram, all over social media, you know, I think we may have projected or maybe people are listening to our words and they're filtering it through their process.
Yeah.
You know, a lot is coming up around like, number one, I see a lot of people on YouTube like saying that you are stuck up or whatever. Or,
oh, thanks for sharing that.
well, I mean, it's not true, but it's just, you know, so I want to clarify this. And then I saw another comment like,
I saw a comment that said you look like Mark Anthony.
well, yeah, well, that's...
I think we should address it.
Why? You're dumb. Okay. The question I got asked the most was, how do I determine if I have standards or if I'm dealing with a wounding, right? Like standards about the partner that I pick, standards about the partner that I'm with, right? And I think a lot of people cause confusion. It causes confusion for people. So to you, what's the difference between standard and wounding? Like superficial, basically.
I think you should start answering the question because it's something that you've been seeing more of. I haven't really had a chance to think it through. Like, that's the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah. So first things first, I think that when you are talking about a standard, I think that a standard is internal. It's a way in which you see life and a way in which you see yourself and a way in which you see, as a result of that, the potential partner that you want to choose to live a lifetime with. So let's take, for example, something like, I don't know, food. If you in your life like to eat healthy, organic food, the likelihood of you wanting to be with someone that goes to McDonald's, Taco Bell, or any fast food restaurant, drinks Coca-Cola, Pepsi, doesn't take care of their body, I think that's a standard. That has nothing to do with a wounding. Let's take a look at like style, for example. Like I remember for me, one of the big things for me was I wanted to be able to go out and make the money, but then I wanted to be with a woman that when I came home, like could style our home in a way that made me feel wonderful. That's a standard that speaks about the way that you like to live life. When we travel together, I have a standard. I don't think this is a wounding. It's just the way I want to live my life. I like travel first class, and we only go to 5-star hotels. And if someone, like in your past relationship, is so budget conscious that they won't allow themselves to fully enjoy life, then maybe that's just not a match for you. And yes, I have a standard for what I'm attracted to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it's not coming from a superficial space. I want to speak about this. There are so many men and women that are in superficial energy because of what they think they are going to receive from being with a person that looks a certain way. That's different. You have to know within yourself, for example, number one, do you see yourself as attractive? Do you feel attractive within yourself? Do you feel beautiful within yourself? And if you don't, I have to ask you a question. Why not? Because one of the things, quite frankly, that you did for me is you helped me heal any part of me that didn't feel beautiful, handsome within myself. Like I remember thinking, like, if I'm going to be with someone like that, I got to step up my game. Right? I got to heal whatever body dysmorphia, whatever is going on inside of me. I got to heal this. I think what people do is I think that they use these stories that they have in their head. Like we got one this week in the Q&A. Like a woman said, all women want a trophy wife to make other men jealous. What? All men. Yeah, that's bullshit. All 4 billion men? All of them? That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out that you have created for not, let me call it what it is, exercising, honoring your body, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, and being in a loving relationship with yourself. You are using something external to keep you on the internal part of your life from being attracted to you. And the more attracted you are to you and the more in love you are with you, the more you're going to be okay with the standards that you have for the partner that you want to live. It comes from a loving energy, not from a superficial energy. And when you're ready to heal your life, come to awaken.
You know, I have so many things to like add / talk about from what you said. I think the first thing I want to address is when you are attracted to yourself, you give off a completely different frequency in the world to a person that is not in love or attracted to themselves. It doesn't necessarily mean like you have to exercise or you have to eat XYZ. It's how do you want to move your body? How do you want to eat? Ask yourself all these questions. How do you want to get dressed? How do you want to, all these things. It's not you telling them you have to exercise and you have to eat clean and it's what can you do in your life? Ask yourself to make you feel the most attractive version of yourself. Is that going for a massage once a week? Is that going for your facial? Is that just going for a walk every day because you like the way it makes you feel? Is that fake tanning? But seriously, because it changes the frequency in which you show up in the world. So I feel like it's really important. I actually felt this for myself this week. Being in mum mode, I didn't get my nails done. I didn't have time to sunbathe or tan or do my hair or whatever it is. And then you said to me, I think you should go. You saw my feet and you were like, whoa. I think you should go for a manicure and pedicure. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I used to go for a manicure and pedicure every 2 weeks because it made me feel nice. Even though I would go climbing like the day after and fuck them up, I didn't care. It was just like part of my ritual to feel attractive in myself. And this week I went to get my nails done and tanned and did my hair, and all of a sudden I feel like it's not necessarily about the way I look, but it's about like the energy that changed within me that makes me feel like really feminine and cute and just different. Like even like when I pick up Selena's toys and I see my hands, it's like a different energy to my fingernails breaking off. And so those are the things that I like to do for me. What I'm trying to say is that everyone can do different things to make themselves feel attractive. It's about being really honest with yourself and actually taking the time to think, what can I do in my life to make me feel the most attractive version of myself for me, not for you, for me. Like when I get up and I see myself and I get dressed, like what makes me feel good? Not because I know you like me in black leggings, like it's because I like me in leggings and a sports bra, and that's what makes me feel good and strong.
And when you feel that way, I feel attracted
and you
to
feel that way. Yeah. And then I also want to talk about like what we call standards, because I feel like the word standards, funnily enough, does feel a little bit stuck up. And I also want to talk about the stuck up thing after. Because what it really is like preferences, but it's preferences that come from a non-wounded space. And like, what does that mean? That means like having really honest conversations with yourself about what do you want? Like, what do you like in life? What do you prefer? Because the way I designed our house is not the way Joe Bloggs down the street likes his house or her house, or some people like to live really rustically with like lots of color, and like the boys tell us that we live in like an asylum because they like color and vibrancy. So it's not like this is the standard. Standard feels very like,
no, it's just what do you like?
What do you like? Like what really makes you tick in life? And that's peeling back the layers of what does like Steve think is cool, that if I drive this car, like will Steve and John and whoever think I'm cool? Your wife is not about because other people will think a certain way about you. It's like, what do you want? What do you really want in life?
I think it's especially in this, like a wife or a man is a reflection of him, of what he wants and what he doesn't want. I was talking to this couple this week, baby, and they're in inner circle, and I'm kind of counseling them through this. They're going through a divorce. And I spoke with the husband this week, and he said, I don't know what to do. And, you know, I set some boundaries that they need to, you know, like uphold in order for this process to be clean energetically. But the biggest thing that I told him, I said, listen, I work with a lot of couples, and I'm going to be honest with you, like, both of you have a lot of wounding. And you attracted each other from that wounding. And he's like, yeah, you know what I realized? I said, why? He said, and I know them, so I'm like, before you can decide if this is the relationship for you, you have to go heal all of the wounding that your dad gave you. He says, yeah, because when I really look at it, my wife is my dad. I said, bingo. You energetically attracted someone that literally treats you, controls you, manipulates you, and keeps you in the box that you've been in since you were a little boy, the same way your dad does. Why? Because that's what you think love is. So press pause. Go ahead.
And I just want to say that's not necessarily your fault.
No.
The journey of like of becoming aware, like, oh shit.
Yes.
Like the reason I chose this partner is because I don't know any other way.
That's right.
And it's okay that you don't know any other way.
It's okay.
It's like being a little bit kind with yourself and saying, oh my goodness, like now I finally realize.
That's right.
And that's okay. Now that you realize, you get to heal those parts of yourself that need to be controlled or need to be kept in a box to feel safe. And think, oh God, I don't need that baggage anymore.
Right. And it's very important, because I don't want you guys to go listen and go, oh my God. No, hang on a second, right? I said, that's the awareness piece. Once you become aware of that, you have to understand it's not about your partner. It's literally about you. It's about, because you can go get another partner. You don't heal you're going to keep attracting the same kind of partner with just a different color eyes, different color hair, different, external, but
same energy, different.
Energetically, exactly the same partner until you learn the lesson. That is what your soul is here to do. Your soul is here to unravel and heal yourself so you could finally accept and give real love. You want your purpose? There it is. Sit with that for a minute. On the woman's side, I asked the woman, these were on our calls. I asked the woman, why do you want to save this relationship? Oh, because I want my kids to have their father. Oh, because, I want to keep our family together. Oh, because, and she was like spitting out answers. And I said, you realize you never once gave me the real answer? You realize you never once gave me the answer that is the only reason a couple should be together? She goes, what? I go, because you love him. I said, listen to me. You're afraid. You're afraid to be alone. You're afraid for him to go be with someone else. You're afraid for your kids to not have their dad. And call it what it is, though. And become aware of the fact that you want this relationship because of the fear that lives within you. People, this is deep. I didn't think we were going to get this, but like this is life-changing here. So what I told both of them was, I said, listen, give yourself 6 months. I told him, you're not going to go date anybody. You're not going to go be with anybody. Right? Because that's her fear. So honor that. Like let her know this is not about that. You go all in. Come to Awaken. Go to Reunion. Go spend some time with ayahuasca. Like go all in so deep that you literally remove all the shit that your dad gave you, that, by the way, that his dad gave him. And get to a space where three things happen. Number one, you know exactly who you are. Number two, you know exactly what you want. And number three, you know exactly what you do not want. That's a self-actualized human being. You know how many of those are walking around this planet? Less than 5% of the damn population. Because everyone is walking around in the energy of fear. And guess what I said? And she needs to go do the same thing. She needs to go find out exactly who she is, because she's got a mother womb. She needs to figure out exactly what she wants in a man. And she needs to go figure out exactly what she doesn't want. And at the end of 6 months, if you can come back together, you can look each other in the eyes and go, oh my God, I know what I want. And it's you. Then you stay in the relationship. But two things is going to happen. Number one, it's either if you come from that healed space, right? It's either you're going to come to a place where you go, oh my God, I know what I want, and it's you. Or, oh my God, this is scary. I know what I want, and it's not you. Both of you will come from such a loving place because you would have arrived in the truth of who you are, that even if you do decide to not be together, it'll be the easiest, most beautiful, most stress-free separation that won't cause any drama or harm to your kids. How did I get into that? I don't know, but that was what I needed to say.
Good shit.
I think every human alive should go and replay that and rewatch it so you understand what real love is and you understand what your journey is. That might be overconfident, but that's the damn truth. It's the damn truth. It's universal truth, straight up. It just punched you right in the mouth. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Whoa. So who said I was stuck up?
Oh, some fucking idiot.
You want to talk about it?
No.
Oh, I do.
When they say that, what they see is a part of them that is afraid to step up into the fullness of, in this case, his masculine, and be honest with himself about his fear of rejection. So what we have been discussing is mirroring back to him how little he feels inside of himself and how unpowerful he feels about himself and his life and his potential to attract the life and the woman of his dreams. So he projects all of that shit in his smallness onto someone else. She's stuck up versus dealing with his own shit. Fuck, I'm on a good one right now.
Me and Casper are looking at each other like, he's off.
I can host Awaken right now.
You know what's so interesting? And I feel like I want to talk about this because especially for women, but it feels like especially for women, relax.
I'm on fire.
Can I speak?
Now. You can. I'm on fire. You don't understand.
You want to say something else?
No, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
I feel like for a lot of women, we receive a lot of judgment from the outside world. And what we learn is to understand ourselves through the eyes of other people. So we build our character, our self-worth, our self-esteem off the opinions of our mum, our dad, our friends, our teachers, our peers, whatever. And I feel like the journey I've been on is a journey of understanding myself through myself. And so the way I've come into what feels like a very strong position for myself is I feel very unwavered by, if you think I'm stuck up and if you think I'm a nice person, if you think you think I'm the devil, that's okay. Because I understand me better than anyone understands me. And I know that I'm not. And so if we can learn to understand that the way people see us is more about the way they see themselves and their relationship with themselves, then we can understand that actually means nothing about us. So you may think I'm stuck up. That's okay, because I know I'm not stuck up. And the spiel that you just gave is exactly the underlying tone of it might be something different. It might be that someone that looked like me in his past hurt him, and that's okay. But if I can have the understanding that that gives no value on who I am, then cool, I'm stuck up.
And I want to speak to one more thing and then we'll go to the questions.
Yeah. What did they say now?
Well, at the beginning of our relationship, there were so many, particularly women, who judged our relationship because of our age, because of whatever. I'm going to get deep with this. I'm going to go deep with this. In particular, there were a lot of, I'm going to say this, get mad, get whatever the fuck. It's the truth. It's what we experience. I noticed there were a lot of Hispanic women that knew that I was with, prior to me, a Hispanic. So they have a construct in their mind as to what goes with me. And because I didn't pick, attract, whatever, what they thought went with me, the comments, it's now gone because they're all gone. They're back in their little miserable whatever the fuck, right? But it's like what you just said reminded me of how like we just did, because we knew what we were about, and we know what we're about, and we know what our love is about. And I also have, this is a big one. Like, I guess it's a thing now where like older men are picking younger women, or, whatever the case may be. And a lot of that, it may be a thing. Yeah, it may be a thing. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, whatever you think, rewind to what just came out of this woman's mouth. Rewind and listen to how articulate, how smart, how confident, how calm she said everything. I'm going to tell you straight up, I have never in my life been around a woman that beautiful. And that has nothing to do with the way that she looks. So to me, you can think that I picked her because of her looks. To me, I am telling you right now, find me one other woman on the planet that is that smart, that emotionally intelligent, that emotionally aware, that articulate, that confident, that peaceful, that grounded, that spiritually connected. It doesn't exist. And yeah, on top of that, she's fucking hot. Yes.
Can I deep the age thing even more?
Deep the age thing.
If we leave like the 3D world.
What does the 3D world mean?
If we leave this reality where this is Chair and you are Danny and you are a speaker, and like we leave our construct and we just zoom out to like energy and souls and like really like zoom all the way out. My soul could be 10 times older than your soul. I could have done this, or whoever's soul. I could have done this rodeo hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times more than someone who's 50.
Physically here.
Physically here. Most of my friends are older than me, but that doesn't even mean anything. It's just my soul, my energy vibes with their soul and their energy. It's got nothing to do with the amount of numbers I've lived this lifetime on this earth. Right?
Right.
What difference?
Do you understand how sexy that is?
Stop.
For a human being to fucking understand that? And do you understand how unsexy it is when you go, the little one, but they're older and do you understand how pendejo that is?
You know, I just want to add as well, I experienced the same thing on my side. Like someone like me doesn't belong with man like you. Because the truth is, we're just living in our own paradigms of what we view goes together.
And that's age. Let's talk about race.
Well, I mean, like race, religion, age, everything.
But you see, but honestly, now you guys understand what I'm telling you is that your soul is on a journey. Now do you understand why I selected her? Why my soul picked her? It's because she literally confronted all of the small parts of me.
And you, in so many ways, do that for me.
That's right. And together we helped unlocked our highest self.
And I want to say continue to do so. There's parts of Danny day to day that I find so confronting because it confronts the smallness in me. It confronts so many parts of myself that I'm like, fuck, that's really triggering.
And you get to either deal with it.
And we go through it.
Yeah, we do. All the time, guys. All the time.
Yesterday morning.
What happened yesterday morning?
I don't know. We were having something about something. The holiday, the vacation.
Oh, yeah.
But we both, like, in a moment, we want to leave. Like, fuck this. I don't need this.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
The ego's like, fuck this.
You can go back to London. Give me some chicks. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. But that's what your ego does.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, or I could face my shit because there's obviously something here because we're both pissed off.
Right. It was a moment, right? And then you softened, like we both did. We both saw, like, I have a wound from previous relationship where I was made to choose between the partner and my family. So I was, so I'm very like, I instantly, especially with the boys, I instantly like, no, my boys, they're my boys. Like, you're not going to make me pick but that's not what you were doing. Not even close. As a matter of fact, you're very loving. But it was my wounding. And I think at the same time, like, there was a part of you who you just want to be loved. You want my time.
A big thing for me is that I love quality time. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel special. So it's the balance between, of course, I always want you to be with the boys and see the boys. And what I was trying to explain to you, like, that's the very reason that I'm here in Austin, is for that exact purpose, so that you can be close to them. But if it was like, if I mention anything surrounding wanting some time, like just us, it's always like but what about you're making me pick between you? And I'm like, no, wait, I'm not doing that. And I
don't even say that. It's like energetic. You could feel it.
It's like defense. It's like and then when you get defensive, I'm like, well, you don't respect my boundaries, and you don't. Mess.
Yeah.
Complete mess. But we saw it for the first time yesterday.
We caught it.
We could really see what was happening.
Yeah. And we just, we surrendered, we let go, and and I think it brought us closer.
Yeah.
That's what this does.
That's why my soul picked your soul and your soul picked my soul, beyond the age and the way we look and
all of that. All right. We're going to ask you some questions now. By the way, I say this all the time, but we really appreciate having you guys here. Like, we do this for fun. We don't even have a sponsor yet out there. By the way, if you want to be our sponsor, go to dannymorel.com / sponsorships.
dannymorel.com /
and then in the message, just say it's finding the one. Yeah. And then come to Awaken and heal your life. Seriously. And you know what? Eventually, babe.
Yeah.
I think eventually it'd be cool to like have couples here and us like helping them work through some stuff.
Oh.
And eventually it'd be cool to have like a weekend, like couples.
I would love to do a couples retreat.
Imagine?
Yeah.
Imagine we do a
Guys, do you
little.
want a couples
You guys want a
retreat?
couples retreat? But this is like dope shit. This is not like, this is life changing shit. Like we'll throw in a little.
Danny, shut up. What is wrong with you?
We'll go deep, deep. You in for a couples retreat? All right, Jen, this one's for you.
Okay.
How can you gain your spark back for your significant other if you know you still love them?
Okay. So I feel like with this one, this is so perfect because this is exactly on the topic that we've been speaking about, which is I feel like a spark very much comes from the attraction that you have for yourself, both individually. And I feel like you need to have a very honest conversation with yourself and your partner about what is not sparking within you, right? Because if you're not sparking and I'm not sparking, how are you ever meant to find spark together? And I think we can get very reliant on the other person's energy. So very reliant on, I'm not feeling sparky, so how can I lean on Danny to like bring me back to life? But instead, having the conversation with each other like, Danny, what is it in your life that you don't feel like excited or sparky or passionate about? Like, is there something that you could be doing to make you feel more strong and more attractive and more energetic and excited about life? And it's about having that open forum, open discussion to help your partner see that maybe there's parts of his life that he doesn't feel sparky about. And then it's about going away and journaling or having it with your partner, but being really honest with yourself about, is my life a bit flat at the moment? And if it is, why? Because as I said, the way you find spark with each other, if you know you have like a deep, deep love for each other, the way you find spark is about finding that within yourself. If you don't feel sexual anymore, why? Do you need to go and dance in the mirror? Do you need to put on sexy underwear for yourself? Do you need to do some self-massage? What do you need to do to make yourself feel sexy and attractive again? Or sexual?
I love that. I think for men, what I'd like to say is, what I will always teach is the 3 energies of human mastery, which is health, finances, and relationships. I specifically for men want to speak about finances and health. I think that for a man, one of the ways in which you can regain spark within your own life is to really have the courage to ask yourself, like, listen, guys, this is your life. I don't care what happened to your mom, what happened to your dad, what happens to your neighbors. Like, this is your life. This is where I share with you my story of how I was once 50, 60 pounds overweight and I was once on welfare, dead broke, right? You can change your life. So I think it's time. It's all about you sitting down and journaling and asking yourself the question, like, what do I want from my life? Yeah. And so an instant thing that you can do to regain the spark within yourself is to like take ownership of like how you feel in your body. Like, men, there's something about going and lifting weights. There's something about the discipline of maybe fasting for half the day. There's something about like being conscious of the food that you're eating. There's something about that testosterone, quite frankly. As you get older and older, men, I don't mean to be, vulgar, but this is the honest to God truth. As you get older and older, your muscle starts to decline and your testosterone starts to decline. And I want to challenge you guys. You do not need to be taking any of these shots, any of this growth hormone, any of these steroids that all of the influencers do. You need to tap into your body's natural ability. And quite frankly, you should be waking up every morning with some wood.
I hope people are listening and not watching.
Yeah, you got to see the hand movement. Yeah, and by the way, listen, this is me speaking to you as a man who in his 30s wasn't, and I started taking, testosterone replacement therapy. Listen to me right now. I don't give a fuck who the influencer is or what they tell you. You do not stick a needle in your body with any of that shit. God provided us everything that we need right here on planet Earth to give ourselves the longevity and the body and the energy that we want to live from. One of the things that I'm doing now is inside of Awaken You. I'm giving you guys the workouts. I'm on a mission myself personally. And I feel like for you men, when you go on this mission for yourself, start with the body and the money will follow. I'm telling you right now, you're going to step back into your power, and that will give you a spark, and it'll ignite a spark in your woman for herself. And then you find connection in those things. That's my answer. Cool?
Cool. Why have you ordered hot shine tire foam?
For the Mustang. I'm going on to a car show tomorrow, which gives you the ick, I know. But it's like an American thing.
You're going to a car show tomorrow and on Sunday?
Uh-huh.
Do you see what I mean about the quality time, everyone?
Well, hang on. She gets the ick because baby, I'm excited. We got a Mustang and I'm excited about it. We bought, if you follow us on Instagram.
Not we, you.
I bought for us.
For you. And you only.
Stop it. Anyways, go ahead. What's my question?
Okay, I've got this question for you.
Tell me.
What if there's not enough sexual chemistry in one partner, but everything else is good?
Ooh. All right. So we all as human beings have 3 different types of energy levels sexually. Some of us have high sexual energy. Some of us have medium sexual energy, and some of us have low sexual energy. Any one that you are at is perfectly fine. You just have to understand where you are at and where the other person is at. And as you are, first things first, picking a partner, right? You need to be conscious of that. Like you really do, because it becomes an issue in your relationships. Once you're in a relationship, shit, what was the question?
I don't know, but I don't agree with what you're saying.
Well, that's 100% accurate. There's some freaks out there. What if you're with a freak, an absolute freak, and you're just a little bit calmer in that? There's a difference in the energy.
Well, I just think that's very pigeonholing, because I think there's phases of your life where you might have low sexual energy, and I think there's phases of your life where your sexual energy is much higher.
But isn't there an overall energy in your life, like you know yourself? There's an overall. Babe, some people like.
I feel like it's a barometer, and it like ebbs and flows with your phases of life.
I feel like maybe it's different for men and women. So maybe I should have.
Okay.
No, I don't think so, babe.
Okay. I think that's very close-minded.
I don't think it's close-minded.
Oh, okay. Let's have a debate about it.
What was the question? The question was,
what if there is not enough sexual chemistry in one partner, but everything else is good?
But you see, then again, sexual chemistry. That sexual chemistry comes from each individual feeling a certain way within themselves. So it goes back honestly to what Jen said, right? And then together, you create that energy through the polarity of masculine, feminine energy. That's how you create the chemistry. You're having a hard time with this one.
No, I'm not, actually.
You're not?
I don't have to agree with you. Do I?
No. From a man's perspective, when it comes to his sexual energy, there's some cleaning that has to happen. He needs to be cleaned of pornography. He needs to be cleaned of looking elsewhere. He needs to have all of his energy into his partner, Because if not, his energy is distracted, right? Look, we live in a world where we were just talking with our friend about dating. It's like, it's rough out there because there's just so much going on. And that's where you as a man, I think, need to learn to put the distraction down and put your energy into loving, honoring, connecting, desiring your partner. That's something that you can do internally. What do you think a woman can do?
To what?
Spice up sexual chemistry.
I think this is actually a really deep one because I think a lot of women have wounding around the topic of sex, be it from sexual harassment or sexual abuse or just like their constructs of what they were taught sex was meant to be. For example, if you believe or you were taught that sex was to please your man, then you're going to show up in a sexual interaction in a very different way from sex is something that we do together to bond, to find union, to feel pleasure within me so he can feel pleasure within him. It's a whole different energy in which you show up. So I think it's a big journey in understanding what your constructs are and beliefs are around sex and how you show up in that environment. Because truthfully, I feel like as women, we're taught that sex is something that's very shameful, that we should feel guilty about, that's embarrassing, that's don't talk about that, like really taboo. So yeah, that has a big, it's a tough one because it has a really big impact on, how you show up in sexual interactions. Maybe you dissociate, maybe you find yourself like thinking about something completely different because you're like not connected to the moment, or maybe it's too hard to be present in the moment.
We could do a whole, listen, what I will tell you is there is no greater mirror in life for how you are living life or what's going on in your life than sex. Like, think about how a man shows up in sex and think about how a woman shows up in sex. Think about how the masculine needs to show up in sex,
Or sometimes not.
Or sometimes, yeah, but for the polarity to exist, there needs to be masculine, feminine.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily in man and woman.
No.
So let's call it
sometimes the man can receive yin yang.
Yeah. Because if you're the man that always has to show up in sex as the really dominant one and you physically cannot lie and receive and be nurtured and loved, like what does that say about your life?
Where else can you not receive?
Yeah.
Well, this is the healing process. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We good?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Finding the One. Next week, we're going to be talking about
Emma's birthday party and meeting your parents.
Danny meeting my parents for the first time. That's it.
Let's do it.